This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and we are just a few hours into the historic Brawl event, and I'm playing with my favorite commander. If anybody, they love to ask me that question. Here's my favorite commander. It is Yorion! Yay! Boo! However you feel about the tilt that is the Sky Noodle, I think that one thing you can admit is that it's a very powerful card, and building a Brawl deck around it is really fun. Building a 100-card Brawl deck around it was very, very fun, because the more you blink, the more you enjoy. You would think I would have blinked enough things by now, between all of my videos and in standard and in historic, that I would be off it, but I still can't get enough out of exiling multiple permanents, returning them to the battlefield, and gaining a bunch of value in the process, because I love value, don't you? So I've got some piles of cards here. How to explain what the deck is, how it works. You know this card by now, Sky Nomad. Basically, you want all kinds of things that when you blink them, they get you value. They do something useful. They keep the opponent off balance. What you don't want are a bunch of just individual cards that work all by themselves and don't interact with Yorion. There are a couple of those, and we'll get to them, but I'm not like loading this deck up with like 50 counter spells, because if you are only playing like counter spells and you're not playing ways to get ahead and you need to stuff on the battlefield to gain value with your commander, eventually you fall behind. Yorion is actually even stronger in Brawl. Of course, you can play it like the original companion text, where you don't have to pay 3 to put it into your hand. I still try to do that on turn 3 sometimes. It's kind of embarrassing. But you also, whenever Yorion dies, you can send it back to command and then play it again. So as the game goes longer, as long as you have enough mana, Yorion gets stronger, which is why we have a lot of things to get us lands and keep the lands flowing. So I've made some piles for all the various cards. Pile number 1 is ways to blink Yorion. While Yorion gets you a ton of value on its own, the real exploitation, the overwhelmingness, and the thing that is actually the win con, because the opponent scoops when they see it happening, is blinking your Yorion to re-blink everything else. And the cards that we have to do that in Historic are pretty sweet. We have Ephemerate, which just came from Mystical Archive. It not only blinks a creature for only 1 white instant, but it also rebounds, so you do it again at the start of the next turn. That's crazy with Yorion. Essence Flux, 1 blue, does the thing with Yorion. Basically Ephemerate without the rebound, but for blue. Then we have Charming Prince, which that's a loop that you see in Standard, where Prince exiles Yorion, Yorion exiles Prince, etc. Momentary Blink is a historic card. This is 2 mana for that exile blink effect, and then it has Flashback, which means you can cast it from the graveyard for 4 more. Glasspool Mimic is a way to have a land that can also copy the Yorion to make it happen. Semester's End can blink all your creatures and planeswalkers and bring them back, including Yorion. Then you have Glorious Protector, which is a sweet flash way to protect your creatures, including Yorion, but when the Glorious Protector gets blinked or dies, you get them all back. Spark Double is a really fun one, because it makes a Yorion that isn't legendary. So you can have a Spark Double copying a Yorion that blinks the Yorion that returns, that blinks the Spark Double that returns as Yorion that blinks the Yorion, and it's a never-ending loop. Thassa the Deep Dwelling also creates a cool flicker loop with Yorion by starting it every single end step with a trigger. And then we have this pile, which is all things that are value to blink with Yorion. These all give you something. And I'm just, rather than read the card name, I'm just going to say what they do for Yorion. More 1/1 vampires. Tons of life from Soul Warden. Thraben Inspector. I said I wasn't going to read card names. Anyway, lots of clues. Lots of planes. Lots of card draw and deramps opponent. Lots of card draw. 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 Lots of scrying and sometimes card draw. Lots of card draw. Card draw. Card draw. Card draw. You get it, don't you? Omen of the Sun. We get some 1/1 humans along with our card draw. Pilgrim of the Ages gets a planes. Card draw, because we didn't get enough, obviously. Card draw? Really limiting the opponent's draws is even better. And then Dovin's Acuity, life and card draw. Elite Guard Mage, life and card draw. Sometimes our opponents do cool things. We need to stop them. These are the interactive cards. Swords to Plowshares. Unsummon is also a way to bounce your own Yorion, but can be used on the opponent's creatures. Baffling End, Glass Casket. You can these are a nice little tag team, but in general, we've got some of these exile effects, and you get a choice. When you blink them with Yorion, you can let them have back like the thing, or you can not blink them with Yorion and just keep the thing that you took. So Baffling End, Glass Casket, we've got plenty more of that effect. Counter spells. We're not a traditional blue deck. We only have a few counter spells for those worst case, overwhelming, super powerful things we can't deal with. Memory Lapse, Tail's End, Counterspell. And if you were only going to play 3 counter spells in a deck with some blue, those are the 3 I would normally elect, as they hit most everything that matters. Banishing Light, that exile effect again. Elite Spellbinder, just tax the opponent's hand into infinity again and again. Fairgrounds Warden is another exile effect. Prison Realm, exile effect. Thopter Arrest is exile. Skyclave Apparition's a good one. Exclusion Mage, bounce an opposing creature. Same with Baron, bounce an opposing creature. Actually, is this any creature? Yep. Opposing creature. Deputy of Detention, Cast Out, and Ixalan's Binding, all more exile effects that you can blink with Yorion. All right, a little bit of ramp, because this is Brawl, and ramp matters a lot. Signet, Cold Steel Heart, Mindstone, Treasure Map, Sailor of Means, Solemn Simulacrum, also good to blink, these 2. Sailor of Means in particular would probably never make the cut if it weren't for the fact that blinking it with Yorion just gives you more and more treasure every single turn. It's like a 3-mana Solemn Simulacrum with a bigger butt. And then we have 2 Wraths. So we have Day of Judgment and we have Wrath of God. Because sometimes the battlefield gets out of hand. Sometimes you can pull off one-sided blinks where your battlefield is completely devoid of creatures and then you can blow them up. Then we have Elspeth Conquers Death, which is kind of a little bit of all these things. It's removal and its value. Time Warp, why not? Why not? And then we've got Bolus's Clutches to steal opponents' commanders. We've got Sublime Epiphany to do all of the above, interact and copy your Yorion. Gross. Emiria's Call can be a nice endgame scenario. Also good combo with the Wrath because your creatures can gain indestructible. Agent of Treachery, the actual endgame. They usually don't survive after the first time you've blinked Agent of Treachery. Usually just seeing Agent of Treachery with a Yorion in your command zone is enough to end the game. And then we have Seagate Restoration to draw a bunch of cards maybe. And in the mana base we have 10 of each basic, so we're not a Field of Ruin deck. We don't have any snow cards, so there's no snow effects. We've got a lot of dual lands to make sure our mana's good early on. So like we have the cards I don't usually run, like Meandering River, Glacial Floodplain, Azorius Guildgate, just because we really want a tapped dual land on turn 1 to make sure that we have the right colors in all the right places. And in the colorless lands, I've cut most of them because I actually found I needed my colors a lot, and I've included Reliquary Tower because look at all that card draw. That's an introduction to the deck. If you don't like blinking things, you can leave now. I understand. If you do, or if you're just stronger than most, prepare to take the ride. Let's dive in. Let the nonsense begin. I'm gonna be the very best there's ever been. Yorion, gonna blink 'em all. Annex, Hardened in the Forge, Ancient Enemies colliding. How did they know? The matchmaker knows this. Free Moly. Still can't get white. Great. 2 exile effects for the Annex means we keep. Gotta draw the white source, though. 3 exile effects for the Annex. Will we draw the white source? It's now or never. Now or we are victims of the Smork forever. You beautiful card. It's you and me. You know it's my destiny. Here we go. So a cool thing with the Skyclave Apparition, oh my gosh, we are an exile patrol. The coolest thing with the Skyclave Apparition on a commander that costs 4 or less is it stays exiled unless they move it. If they move it, then when they kill this, they don't get an illusion. They leave it underneath. No, you left him. You left it underneath. Isn't that how it works? Doesn't it stay exiled now? Doesn't it stay exiled now? Forever? I'm so happy! This would be so awkward in paper. Judge judge my opponent is trying to put Annex back in their command zone after they chose to leave it in exile because of Skyclave Apparition. But it doesn't work the same as Deputy of Detention, Fairgrounds Warden, or Banishing Light, or Oblivion Ring. Once you're exiled with Apparition, if you choose to leave it in exile, it doesn't come back. And now my opponent literally gets no commander for the rest of the game. That is super awkward in paper. But here, right now on MTG Arena, I just get to revel in it. Oh. You threw away your commander. Your commander. Mono red, this is why you can't have nice things. This is why you can't have nice things. The salty rope. They're uninstalling Magic Arena forever. All right. Can't be blocked except by creatures with Defender. Can't be blocked except by creatures with Defender. I don't know, man. This is a tough block. This is a tough call right here. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful day, guys. All right, Fairgrounds Warden. It's that or the Deputy. I don't know. I think you just go with the Warden here. Now the token's gone. It's awesome. This is just awesome. If torturing mono red could, like, if someone asked me what's my dream job, I'd probably reply Magic the Gathering streamer. Thank you, everybody, by the way. But if they were like, can you be more specific? I'd say waking up every day thinking about how to torture mono red. And this is just another feather in the cap. Tiny Bones. Discard gamers. Imagine playing discard effects against Yorion. Oh. Before I get too cocky. Bad things could happen. But nah, probably not. Let's just get... As long as we get our permanents onto the battlefield, and then Yorion can start blinking them, I don't know what the opponent's really going to do. Here's Tiny Bones. Anyway, if you haven't seen Tiny Bones, it is a mythic from Jumpstart. At the beginning of each end step, if an opponent discarded a card this turn, you draw a card, and you lose 1 life. And then 6 mana. Each opponent with no cards in hand loses 10 life. And they also have a Mox Amber over here, so they get to ramp a little bit in their mono black deck. Good for them. Let's shut down this Tiny Bones nonsense and shut down this ramp with a Baffling End. Send in the 1/1. Yeah, your Mox Amber won't produce mana unless you control a legendary creature, right? Or Planeswalker. Whoa, Agonizing Remorse. They take Time Warp. All right, I don't have a combo to go infinite with Time Warp. They might have thought I did. It's not that uncommon to see. I would have taken Thassa. The Vampire token can go the distance. Legion's Landing doesn't look too impressive most of the time, but when you're up against an aggro deck, it's incredibly impressive. Let the discards continue. So they're coming for Thassa now, for sure. But it's going to let me get to play the Elite Guard Mage, and we draw Semester's End, which can be fun with the Guard Mage. Oh yeah. Like, the discard deck versus the Yorion deck is so awkward because every single piece that ends up on the battlefield can generate Yorion value. You can make them discard all these cards, but they just rebuild their hand. Thoughtseize, you got it. You got it. Taking Semester's End. Pretty powerful little blink effect. Can you kill the Guard Mage? Nice, they can. I mean, not nice for me. It's still good value for me, actually. Shall we Yorion? It's a medium Yorion. Just a little warm-up. But we get another card. We get another 1/1. Spare supplies. We'd start charging up the Yorion. Yeah. Yep. 1-for-1 removal. Yorion goes back to command. Unfortunately, we couldn't just unsummon it. That would have been sweet there. Spare supplies. A card here, a card there. If we play the tap land this turn, we might be able to play Yorion next turn. The 1/1s continue their march of doom. Murderous Rider comes out to play. Omen of the Sun will make some 1/1s. Now, do we want to protect Yorion with Unsummon? Against a discard deck, that sounds like a bad deal, because they can just pick it out of our hand. The way we could do it is attack with 3 creatures, flip the landing, and then cast the Yorion and have 1 blue available. I guess if they make me discard it, it goes back to command anyway. And adding more 1/1s with the landing doesn't sound too impressive, so yeah, let's do it. Let's flip the landing, and then use the 1 extra little ramp of mana to have Unsummon available to protect Yorion if they were going to kill it again. We also get 1 damage in and throw away 1 token, but we make more. Yorion! Baffling End can hit the Murderous Rider, but we give our opponent a dinosaur. I think I'd rather they had the dinosaur. Baleful Mastery. Unsummon. Hand. This was student cost, right? I mean, we could have drawn a card there, but I think Yorion in hand is worth it. Take a bow! Yorion tortures a discard deck. Skullomania. That's a name. Alayla. Esper controlly artifacty enchantment make lots of fairies deck. Should be a fun matchup. Let's go. This hand has a little of all we need. 2 mana card draw, 3 mana removal. A few more powerful effects for the late game. Excuse me. Why do I have hiccups? Very unprofessional. You know, I want you guys all to take a moment and just appreciate how rarely I get hiccups. It's a very common bodily thing that just happens to people, but here on the stream, through sheer force of will, practice, training, and attention to detail and focus, how often have you really heard me hiccup? Huh? Ever? That's right. That's right. It's because I'm true professional. Why did I do that? This is what happens when I start monologuing for content. This is what happens. I'm so jealous right now. Give me that Omen. Give me that Omen. If I miss this land drop, we're just dead. Just dead on board. All right. The only way this game is going to make the cut into the video now is if we actually hit some land drops and get to play, because that was way too bad. That missing that turn 2 Fipplethip was way too bad. Oh my lord. Artifactor creature. Narset's just got me. It's just got me. If you're gonna banish my tome, you're just a bad person, and you should be ashamed. And next turn's not gonna be great either. Cast out. All right, so we have to resolve this Elspeth Conquers Death, and we have to draw land, and I don't have any way to make any of those things more likely. Maybe I'll just play this Fipplethip, not draw a card, threaten to attack this Narset. Like I probably should have done on turn frickin' 2. It's not an oops, okay? I'm trying to attack your Narset. I did on purpose. I'm a brilliant gaming mind. Everybody knows this. And look, it's gonna work. No harm, no foul. All right, we're gonna draw land. I hope so. Untap land. Tap land. Okay. That's okay. We can now ECD if they play a Layla. And they showed us they're basically willing to slam a Layla wherever possible. Ominous Seas. Aether Spellbomb. Arcane Signet. I see. So you were going to slam all that with the Layla. Well, glad to deny you. Because you stole my tome, and we are not okay. So what do they have? 1 mana available. I attack you with Thipplethib, the Lost. Gamer, what you got? Okay. Elspeth Conquers Death. We will exile the Banishing Light. We will get back our Maze Mind Tome. And we will restore order, truth, and justice in the world. Layla. Got me on my knees, Layla. 2/3, Flying, Death Touch, Lifelink. Other creatures with flying get +1/+0. Whenever you cast an artifact or enchantment, make a fairy. That's actually a 2/1 as long as this is around. Pretty fun commander. Maybe we'll actually play with it sometime. It's definitely one of those that would make my list if Yorion weren't so Yorion, you know? In response to my scry. That's vicious. What kind of an animal would do such a thing? Well, we've got you tapped out. Make treasure. Scry. Ooh. Okay. 2 options. No, 1 option. Thopter Arrest. Go away, Layla. Another time, maybe. You've got a lot of mana, but she up to 8. 8's a lot. And not only that, next time you play her, she's mine. Ethereal Absolution. Creatures you control get +1. Creatures your opponents control get -1. What a sweet card for that deck. If this gets countered, it's so bad for us. It's so bad. We should either, you know, let's try to play the Time Warp. Some people counter Time Warp on site. They're just like, extra turn, that's crap. Okay, they didn't do it. I know, it was a pretty lame Time Warp. I admit this. All right, we're going to try to play the Yorion. I want to steal something, but I'm not walking into Disdainful Frickin' Stroke, okay? I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Oh, our opponent's bored. You guys feel bad? You feel bad for them? All right. Yorion. Resolves. Feels good. All right, so Agent of Treachery is likely to work. What, this is a clue? This is a treasure? That's not going to be hard to remember at all. I'm not going to sack one of these the wrong way by accident. Never. All right, give me that Signet. Let's Stone Rain you. Thopter Arrest can hit artifacts or creatures, which is pretty fun. It was a big deal because vehicles were in Kaladesh the set it was printed. And your turn. Charming Prince, ready to establish some loop-de-loops. Here's a cast out. They want to cast out the Yorion. We can tail send the trigger and keep the Yorion, or we can just send it to command. It's interesting, right? I think we just let it go and send it to command. Mentor, that can draw cards. Little card advantage engine for the opponent. They're tapped out though, which means your Ethereal Absolution is my Ethereal Absolution. Oh no. Oh no. No. Yoinkers. Would you like to? Yep, there, yep. I thought you might. All right, do we Charming Prince this baby? The spamming of the snoozy emote has begun in earnest. This is a creature, right? All right, target creature. I'm not scared of anything else yet. Otherwise, I'd Charming Prince blink this agent, but I really don't think I need to. I can hold up Tail's End instead. So, Layla? Do you play a Layla into a Yorion that can blink an Agent of Treachery? No, you hit the red button. Like, you 100% concede. But let's see what our opponent decides to do. Yeah, it's nice. I know. It's very epic. Can't imagine why this had to go. Scries. Good game. You're not gonna let me do it, are you? You're not gonna let me do it. I understand. I understand. Tell you what. I'll just flex harder. Is that okay? Is that okay? Oh, man. Fairy. We'll get a fairy, all right? We'll get a fairy, top deck the land, still have Tail's End available. Opponent's not scooping. Earning the respect of the internet, I hope. If you wanna share in a moment of opponent appreciation on the channel, which is pretty rare, but they're playing blue cards and they're not scooping to absolute pain, which is better than I am. Yeah, you can go ahead and appreciate the opponent here in the chat. Yeah. Yep. All right, you got something else? You got another method? I got your commander. What could you possibly have that could be greater than getting your commander swiped deed? I'm just crying. Oh, don't rope me now. Come on now. We were having a good toxic game of Magic. To glory! Settle the wreckage? Do it. Do it. Make this game interesting. Oh, Shark Typhoon. Okay. Shark Typhoon is more on brand, I would say. And the ambush goes to the Agent of Treachery. Good choice. Good choice. Down to 1. Say it with me, everybody. In a moment. Yorion! I like giving them false hope. It's fun. They get another artifact? Nah, we'll keep their artifact. Although we get to take out their 4/4 for funsies. All right, deal. And attach Bolus's clutches. Why not? You can have your commander for a minute. And we'll get rid of your shark. So we can loop the Thopter Arrest at no penalty in the future, because there'll be nothing underneath it. Decline, because this is exiled by Charming Prince. Draw a trigger. Draw a trigger. Oh yeah. Now I am a Kraken gamer. Well, you got a Layla. Don't ever say I'm not without mercy, okay? I'm a good guy. I gave the commander back for a minute. Oof. that moment when you blow up your own commander and go to 0. Skullomania has a flair for the dramatic, and I appreciate it. Clothes. Clothes. Wonder what this matchup will be like. We don't use our graveyard, so Clothes doesn't turn off too much of what we do. Well, I'll tell you what, the matchup is going to be terrible if we don't mulligan into some land, so... did it. No interaction, though. Field of the Dead on turn 1. That is sending a message. That is sending a message right there. Into Fancy Pants Mountain. Birth or Tome. If we play Birth a little later, we'll get to Yorion it. And we have enough land. And we don't need the wall, so Tome. Here's Klothys. Nothing in graveyards yet, though. Nothing to get too excited about. If I play this, I think it's really likely to die, and I won't get much value from it. Let's draw and see what we find. If I play the Birth of Meletis now, we won't get to blink it with Yorion. It's not like we need a bunch of lands and walls, though. So yeah. We could run out the Glass Casket planning to blink it later so that we don't have to worry about removing something the turn we play Yorion. But I think that's about the same as playing Birth since it makes a wall. No plays from opponent. You know, your Klothys deck should probably not just totally rely on the opponent to fill the graveyard. We're not going to use this passage, for example. All right. Let's get some of these things on the board so that our Yorion does something when we play it. I do think this will die, but let's find out. We've got to find some value for our Yorion. There's a shock. Unsummon Signet. Signet's a no. Unsummon is interesting, but I think it's a no. Not one of the value things that we really want to blink. Goodbye, Prince. I'm gonna miss ya. Migration Path. Our opponent's mana woes have been solved. Thassa, the Deep Dwelling. Okay. Well, that's one way to get a lot of value. God versus God. Submit 0 here, but having it down means that we charge Tome when we play Yorion, and then when we flicker Yorion again, it charges Tome again. So hopefully we can get a lot of cards out of it. Although now I might be waiting to cast Yorion until after Kiora Best the frickin' Sea God. Because that's how you say it, the frickin' Sea God. Alright, Yorion next turn because we can flicker the casket. Take out the... whatever this is. Beast. Beast. Govin's Acuity is tempting, though. I like value. You might know this about me. Yorion. All right, we'll have nothing to worry about from the beast from Vivien. It's just the value that Vivien can produce. All right, so these are going to be phased out during my opponent's turn. So we may as well take them off the board so they can't be targeted or interacted with. But I'll keep the Tome. Just in case blinking it, if they kill the Yorion, the Tome would come back. Oh, it would still have one counter. I guess I should have blinked the Tome too. If they blow up the Tome, my bad. -2. Terror. What does it get, my precious? 4 mana or less creature. From the library. You better make it a 4-drop. Okay, Questing Beast. That turns on Klothys. That means Klothys can get hit by the Glass Casket. All right, Gruul Smash. Come here, buddy. The opponent can send it to the command zone. Terror of the frickin' Peaks, huh? We could tap it and attack the Vivian, but I'm not that scared of the Vivian. I'm kind of curious what happens if I get a Spark Double down with the Yorion. It's something I've dreamed of. Only in dreams. I have a feeling I'm going to have to pay attention to some triggers. Let's hold up the memory lapse so our opponent doesn't go too crazy. I mean, this is active. Do we want to exile this? But I want to keep looping. Looping is fun. You know, it's a formidable board. Let's just leave it. We can start the loop again next turn. We'll just exile the casket. I know, lame. Submit 0. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. So, -2 again. Vivian down. End raise for runners. Let's let the Vivian go pick its target. We're definitely countering the Forerunners, but they might get Kogla. This is going to be interesting. You know, if nothing... So that's going to deal an absurd amount of damage. Oh, this is bad. Everything about this is bad. My beautiful Spark Double plan got obliterated. But I guess Day of Judgment is coming. To the top. Could really use one more land. I would love to be able to tap something with Thassa next turn after the Day of Judgment so the Endraze Forerunners can't get me. It's a tap land. Well, this has to be the play. And then this comes down, attacks for 7, and we're at 8. Well, it turned out to be a close game. Closer than I thought it would be. A little bit of 2 life here. Another life. Thassa do nothing. Endraze Forerunner, slap face. Nope, Clothis instead. Interesting. Going with the burn plan. Elite Guard Mage. Actually, we have a ton of life gain coming in hot here. An 8/8 though is a pretty good brick wall. I guess they can go bigger, can't they? They really can with Rada. We'd have to block with it. It would be a disaster. So, Guard Mage. Drew the land. Tome. Blinky Guard Mage. It's gonna gain some life back really quickly. We're up to 17. Yeah, I thought we were running away with this one, but it got interesting fast. That Vivian with the -2 really did a number on us. 2 turns in a row. Cavalier of Thorns. Powers up Clothis. Now Field of the Dead is active. Oh boy. Oh boy. Heck of a game. I definitely got a little too greedy with my Yorion Spark doubling nonsense, which I thought was going... it was really exciting to see, and I wanted to see how far the loop could go, but it was, in hindsight, a bit of an oops. Good old Omen of the Sea. Son. My bad. I think killing the Rada is not the play when you have a blink deck with Guard Mage. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 7 mana, we can play Yorion and Warden, so we would take an untapped land. Cavalier has reach, don't attack. We need to really put a dent on this board. We're gonna need that. If I play Kiora Best of Sea God here, we get run over. I have to play Yorion. Not a tap land, please. Definitely not one of the hits we want. That's a lot of toys. All right, so at the beginning of the end step, we want to flicker the Yorion second and return everything first. All right, we want the glass casket thing to resolve pretty early because we want to get our hands, we want to get the Klothys, and then we want to exile other things with the Fairgrounds Warden. So Fairgrounds Warden will target probably the Rada? Because the Rada can get pumped. I guess we don't care very much. But the Rada doesn't have an ETB, so that also makes it a really good target. Flicker the Yorion. Here we go again. Are you ready? All right, free scry off the tome here. Might as well keep a semester's end for the LOL. And we are blinking you. Don't want to blink you. Don't want to blink you. They left Klothys under the casket, which might mean something's about to happen to it. All right, I'm gonna have to make these decisions faster or the opponent might scoop. And I don't want them to scoop because it's an interesting game. Ugin! Wow. Yeah, that's why they left it under the casket. Ugin in the Gruul deck. Nice. Very nice. And they still have an Endraise Forerunners in their back pocket. I guess we know what's on top. No reason to run the tome here. Yeah, Ugin's going to get attacked by the Guard Mage. There's the tower. But Thassa is gone. Yorion is super expensive. We have a Semester's End, though. Kiora Best the Sea God. Pilgrim of the Ages. One of the oddball cards. But you do need to hit your land. A lot of land. And you do need bodies. Soul Warden, nice. Thopter Arrest, nicer. Yeah, we're gonna have plenty of life. Opponent's gonna have trouble burning us out of nowhere, but they might have... they probably have Crater Hoof. They go really freaking huge. This is one of the more Gruul monstery monster decks I've ever seen. So this card can gain a lot of buff. So let's take a chumper. And they still have Field of the Dead too, and Crawling Barrens. What does this do? Devotion to green, each other creature gets a counter. And they have Dry Greenseeker. Okay, so the power level of their deck has been pretty high throughout, but it's starting to chill a little bit. It's starting to chill a little bit with those two cards. They have 35 life? Clothis, man, what a house. What's the play? Soul Warden. Soul Warden pushed it over the top. Not how I expected that one to end. Professor Onyx. Good old mono black. I bet they have Dark Ritual in their opening hand. This hand is sweet, though. We're going to play this one. We're going to play this hand. Will Semester's End ever resolve in a game of Magic the Gathering? Stay tuned. Actually, no. Prefer a Plains. Castle Ardenvale can enter untapped. Dusk Legion Zelly. I'm jelly. I like cards that draw cards. Let's ramp. If we name white, we have all the white we need to activate castle someday. Not that that's the most important thing, but if you're just looking for any reason to do something a little different, no! We got a reader. We're reading Semester's End. None of the cards in the hand are overpowered. You know, just kind of like the Yorion deck itself. Doesn't have that many super powerful cards compared to other Brawl decks. So they take the Semester's End. They're like, I don't know what they're doing with that card, but it's probably good. Omen. Let's just do it now. Get a look. Thraben, Inspector, and Treasure Map? Yes, please. A little bit of value goes a long way against a grindy mono black deck. We might miss a land drop. That could be bad. Firemind's Vessel. You did what? Our opponent is ramped, guys. All right, draw me a card. Make it a good one. Land, not land. All right, shouldn't have kept this treasure map. Actually gonna cost me here. Let's get it on the field, though. Yeah, also shouldn't have scried the land to the bottom. Should have known better. Got greedy. False sense of security achieved. Well, our opponent knows about Prison Realms, but it looks like they've decided that slamming Professor Onyx is the play. For your viewing pleasure, I'll just hover over this card for a second. Oh, hi. All right, did not take Vraska's Contempt or land. To the Prison Realm.
I have more important things to do.
Kiora bests the Sea God. I have a feeling our opponent's deck can't handle this too well, but I also have a feeling I'm not casting it anytime soon. Oh, we got chumps. Some kind of reanimation jutsu on tap here. All right, we're going to use the map. We'll just say go. It also makes it look like we have a counter spell. And people who have been scarred by blue mages might not run something too powerful into it. Skyclave Relic is another nice mono black ramp card. They must have Torment of Hailfire in this deck, which means we're going to need a lot of things on the board or to find our one counter spell. Oh my gosh, the ramp. They're ramping so hard. I guess I need to hit land too. Can't afford to miss. If the opponent's paying attention, though, they know that was a land. Yorion here is fine, but doesn't hit anything with the prison realm. Probably gets removed. Doesn't use the map. I feel like I should get something on the board, though. So I'm just going to have this casket on the battlefield to blink with Yorion in the future. I really want to flip the map. I want to have access to a lot more resources because our opponent's going to start doing really powerful things. Like I said, powerful. All right, let's get a little scry. Fairgrounds Warden. In hindsight, I would not have played out this casket. I would have discarded it, but no use crying about it. It's a pretty strong value play out of our opponent. They do have enough mana to kill this, but we can play it again for 7. Yorion. Caca. Here comes removal. Yeah. So we get the Scry from the Realm and we take the Zealot with the Casket, hopefully. If it stacks right. Or we stack it right, I should say. I'd rather it were under the Casket because the Prison Realm can hit the Professor Onyx and the Casket can't. Land to the bottom. Woo! Okay. Oh, we got a card on top of our library. And a Charming Prince, if our hand is our hand next turn. They could make us discard. Dear opponent, what are you going to do with all that mana? $13? 13? That's not a lucky number. They found the perfect combination of lands with which to cast Professor Onyx. All right, you're on. Two removal spells to the bin. Field of the Dead, and it triggers. Oh boy. You know, I'm not a Field of the Dead deck. I have 10 basic plains and 10 basic islands, but it would trigger if I stole it. Real question is, do they have like another way to kill? Do they have a way to kill the agent so that I can't flicker it? Do I only get one snatch with this agent or do I get 2? Man, that running that timer. What are we going to take? Do we take their commander? Do we take their Field of the Dead? I don't know, man. I really don't know. I'm taking the commander. What would you take? I mean, I can kind of solve the commander again and again with the Prison Realm. But... And I think I'm okay against the zombies. Let's see if they kill Agent here. Mimic? You know... Oh, man. So when they do go to kill Agent, I can protect it. Oh, no. I have just enough mana, too. Let's see what happens. They activate. They have 1 mana open. Oof. Feel the tension here. I mean, they're mono black. Surely it's removal central, you know? They've got to have a way to do it. Make a zombie. Sure. What's this? 6 mana. Return it from your graveyard to your hand. Jeez, that's a lot of mana for that effect. I mean, attacking my face? Must be like Torment of Hailfire, right? Taste of Death. All right, let's go for it. Each player sacrifices 3 creatures. If the Protector comes in and exiles the Agent, then we'll sacrifice the Protector, and then Agent will return to the battlefield. Oh my gosh, it's happening. Mine. Ooh, that's nasty. They didn't stick around to see what happens when you have Charming Prince and Yorion in the loop. And we are back for the post-game wrap, and let's check the stats powered by Untap.gg. Mostly because I want to show you how to find Brawl stats, because I've had some questions about that. They are kept. Honestly, your win rates and whether or not you're succeeding in Brawl, don't take that too seriously. Like, for example, my win rate with my Omnath deck is terrible. If you check my profile, it's because I conceded every mirror match because I didn't want to play an Omnath mirror, and I got paired in so many of them, it was insane. But if for those who want to find your stats on untap.gg, go over here to where it says constructed, click on event. Go over here to all events, click on Brawl, and you should be able to see, okay, that's standard Brawl, sorry. F&M? Special. Okay, so yesterday it would have been F&M because yesterday I was playing the F&M event, but that only lasts 1 day. So I guess we're under special here where, yep, there it is. Our Yorion easy 5-0 torture fest of Sky Noodle nonsense. Mono black, what are you doing? You can't outgrind Yorion. I think that's what I love most about the Yorion decks. You don't outgrind it. If you build it right, you can't outgrind it. It's too much value. So anybody who's trying to outdraw you is going to have trouble. Opponents have to either go over the top or underneath, or they have to have just an insane amount of counterspells to stop the value. And I am perfectly fine with having those weaknesses because I feel like I'm really good against aggro decks and anybody who wants to try to have more fun than me by drawing more cards or making me discard cards or whatever they're doing for value. I'm going to do more. And that's what I love about the deck. And if you're into that, if you're feeling that as well, then please, by all means, craft a few cards and sleeve up Yorion as your commander in 100 card Historic Brawl event. In general, please enter the event and play it a little bit. If you didn't like this deck, check the Omnath deck from yesterday. If you didn't like that, I'm going to have some more coming. I'm sure that Legend will put out a few. I think Legend put out one yesterday that I haven't gotten to watch yet, but I'm sure I will. And yeah. Like, find a deck you like and play it, because I really want 100 card Historic Brawl to be a regular arena fixture. And if you guys enter the event and play it a little bit, that will help a lot. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. You stayed till the end. I appreciate that. Of a Historic Brawl video with Yorion. There's a lot of blinking. That takes work. So for that, you're cool.